Imagine taking one of the bleakest, most realistic post-apocalyptic shows ever made, then deciding what it really needed was more action, more conspiracies, and characters who looked like they just walked out of a fashion catalogue despite civilization collapsing around them. That was the BBC's 2008 remake of Survivors, and from everything I've seen, it completely missed what made the original so unforgettable. Before The Walking Dead, before The Last of Us, even before films like 28 Days Later, there was Survivors, created by Terry Nation back in 1975. It wasn't interested in spectacle. It asked a much simpler and much scarier question. If society disappeared tomorrow, could you actually survive? Not fight zombies, not become an action hero, just survive, finding food, finding clean water, growing crops, building trust, trying to rebuild civilization. That was the real story. What I love about the original is how ordinary it feels. These aren't superheroes, they're teachers, engineers, office workers, people suddenly thrown into a world where none of their modern skills matter anymore. There aren't endless explosions, there aren't car chases every 10 minutes. Instead, there's uncertainty, silence, isolation. Some of the early episodes barely use any music at all, and that silence becomes a character in itself. It's unsettling. It forces you to sit with the reality of what's happened. The world feels empty because it is. A quick correction before we carry on. After recording this video, I jumped onto IMDb to have another look at the 2008 remake, and it all came flooding back. I'd completely forgotten that I actually did watch it when it first aired. Well, at least the first couple of episodes, I think. Looking at those clips reminded me why I never carried on. Everyone looked far too clean and well put together. They looked like actors playing survivors, not people who'd actually survived. And in a show like this, those visual details really matter. Back in 2008, the BBC decided to remake it. Now, I never actually got around to watching it, but after reading about it, watching clips and listening to fans of both versions, I honestly don't think I missed much, because nearly every criticism points in the exact same direction. The remake kept the basic premise, but it completely changed the tone. Instead of quietly asking, how do we rebuild society, it leaned much harder into action, conspiracies, gunfights, and mystery. In other words, it became just like every other modern post-apocalyptic drama. One criticism that comes up again and again is that it completely lost its grit. The original characters looked exhausted, dirty, cold, like people who had genuinely spent weeks trying to stay alive. But the remake, from the clips I've seen, everyone looks remarkably well dressed. Perfect hair, designer jackets. They look ready for a magazine cover, not the end of the world. It might sound like a small thing, but visual storytelling matters. If your world doesn't look believable, your audience stops buying it. But appearance isn't the biggest issue. Tone is. The original understood something modern writers sometimes forget. The end of civilization is interesting enough on its own. You don't need to add twists every 5 minutes. The drama comes naturally. Running out of medicine, finding clean water, deciding who you can trust, watching morality slowly change. Those are compelling stories. That's where the tension comes from. Not another conspiracy, not another secret organisation, not another shootout. Sometimes less really is more. I think Survivors would resonate even more today than it did back in 1975. We've all lived through supply shortages, lockdowns, empty supermarket shelves. For the first time in decades, people experienced a tiny glimpse of how quickly normal life can change. And that's exactly why a faithful remake could work today. Not by making it bigger, not by making it louder, but by making it more believable. Stay true to the original philosophy, let the situation create the drama, trust the audience. Maybe that's why the original is still remembered 50 years later. It respected its audience. It wasn't trying to impress them every 5 minutes. It simply asked, what would ordinary people actually do? Sometimes that's the most frightening question of all. But what do you think? Did you watch the 2008 remake? Did it deserve more credit than it gets? Or do you think it completely missed what made the 1975 original so special? I genuinely love to hear from people who've seen both versions, so let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed this look back at classic television and why some remakes lose what made the originals great, give the video a like and consider subscribing. There are plenty more classic sci-fi and television deep dives on the way, and I will see you in the next one.